What's up YouTube? PokePrimer here, ready to deliver you our team builder for week 5 of the PFCFL. And that was my key falling out of my pocket on the floor. What a big pain in the ass that is. Anyway, this week the Hazleton Hoopas are 3-1 after a brutal defeat last week by the Seattle Skarmories, which we will get our revenge, Ray. I guarantee you of that, buddy. You just wait and see. It was a team building mishap on my part. It was a very big team building mishap. He had a Clefable. My team doesn't handle fairies all that great. I didn't have pretty much any coverage for it. The only coverage I honestly had for it was pretty much I had nothing to cover it besides Iron Tail on Mega Lopunny, and it was stupid. That's pretty much the simplistic part of it. I made a poor choice in that sense, where I decided not to run Durant last week. I see no reason now that I look at it. I see no clear, obvious reason as to why I shouldn't have brought Durant. Because Durant would have put in work on the Weavile and the Clefable. Could have put in work on the Mega Latias. Now, obviously, before Mega Evolving, it could have put in some work on the Lucario. It could have put in work on the Mesprit. It could have put in some good work on the Kecleon or the Stoutland if he had brought it. It could have put in a lot of work on my opponent's team. And honestly, I just got so scared by a Rotom Heat that I didn't bring it, and that was a huge mistake on my part. I definitely goofed up on that one. I'll be completely real. I goofed up on that entirely, especially since he didn't even bring the Rotom Heat. If he did not bring Rotom Heat. If I had brought the set that I had originally considered bringing on Durant with Hone Claws, Iron Head, X-Scissor, and Superpower, I would have been able to pretty much one-shot or two-shot his entire roster that he brought. Because he brought Latias, X-Scissors aren't going to be appreciated. He brought Lucario, Superpower will not be appreciated. Weavile, Superpower / Ironhead / X-Scissor, none of them will be appreciated. Clefable will not take very many Ironheads. And Mesprit isn't gonna like a freaking X-Scissor. But for whatever reason, I just thought so stupidly, and I did not bring the Durant, and that cost me, because then his Clefable was just able to sit there late game and sweep. I mean, and the fact that he brought dual Scarfers threw me off too, so I have to watch for that next time. But regardless, enough about that. I messed up, and we're not going to have that happen again. So this week, we're going to move past that, and we're going to look for a big win this week against Chris Dubé and the Detroit Pidgeots. Now, Chris has a very interesting team with a good mixture of bulk and pure wall-breaking power. But I think, personally, his team has enough clear weaknesses that I think I can exploit them nicely with the squad that we're bringing this week. So without further ado, let's get into this. Chris's team, the Detroit Pidgeots, includes Thundurus Incarnate, Mega Sableye, and Victini as his OU Mons, Cresselia, Shuckle, and Slowking as his UU Mons, Exploud, Tangrowth, and Cinccino as his RU Mons, and Crustle, Magmortar, and Zangoose as his NU Mons. Now, looking at his team, you see right off the bat he has 3 normal types. Alright, so that right there is huge. We can definitely plan around that. Well, we do have two of our best walls now are ghost types, so we can use that to our advantage, I think, and really shut down some of his more potent offensive threats. We have a huge, huge rock-type weakness. Huge rock-type weakness on his team, which we definitely can try to exploit as well as a very big water weakness as well on top of that. So we've got some very prominent weaknesses on his team. Typical wall core, his typical core, he has a very good firewater grass core in Victini, Tangrowth, and Slowking. Tangrowth being very physically bulky, and Slowking covering the specially defensive side, with Victini being a wall-breaking monster. However, I believe our walls definitely can handle Victini. Our walls will not be broken as easily by Victini, and we can use them to kind of scout what kind of set the Victini is running, so that we know how to properly handle it later on in the match. Cresselia is another potential wall he can bring, but I already proved, I had a few practice matches with our buddy Frank, and he said he can definitely tell that we have more than adequate covers for Cresselia. In all of our practice matches, he brought Thunderous Incarnate, Mega Sableye, Victini, Slowking, Tangrowth, and Zangoose, which is pretty much what I expect Chris to bring, for the most part. Every single practice match, I was able to beat him 3 or 4-0. Just ended up in scenarios where nothing he had could stop me, and I just kind of kept switching in and out and shutting down all of his offensive options. So hopefully with the sets that we brought this week, we can do the same thing to Chris himself. So without further ado, let's get into the actual team that we're bringing here. The first one we're going to have, I'm not going to show her Mega Evolve this week because we are having our battle on Showdown, and it's actually probably going to be in about half an hour or so from now. So I'm not going to put it up on Showdown. So we have Chun-Li the Mega Lopunny here. And I usually have the stats up. There we go. Actually, this is probably can't see the stats. Hold on. Let me just edit this real quick. There's some live editing going on right now. And bam. Apply, and now we can fix the size a bit. Oh, we're going to change you to 1280 by 720. There we go. I'm sorry about that, guys. I didn't have it set up the proper way when I started recording, so we're just going to go with that. Anyway, so we have Chun-Li the Mega Lopunny here, with just enough speed to naturally outspeed his entire roster. Obviously, Choice Scarfers will outspeed us, but even if we went max speed, it wouldn't really matter. So, with the extra 30 points in speed that Mega Lopunny gets, we outspeed Cinccino by 1 point, and that's his fastest Mon, which is fantastic to be able to do. So we can easily handle his roster. High Jump Kick is there because any of his normal types that he brings, now that we know we can outspeed them, we can basically just hop in and shit on their face with a high jump kick, and they can't really do anything about it. The only thing I'm slightly fearing is a Scarfed Exploud, which, thinking about it, goes to about 198 speed. Let me run a quick calc here. Lopunny. Do I have to run Jolly? Adamant. I would have to run, yeah, I would have to run Jolly if I wanted to outspeed it. Yeah, I'd have to run Jolly with 204 speed to outspeed it. So I'm not going to do that because I need the punching power necessary to break through some of his walls. High Jump Kick is pretty much a two-shot to everything on his team that doesn't resist it. Nothing on his team really appreciates Adamant High Jump Kick. Either Okos or two shots. Even two shots Crustle which is really, really big. And it actually I'm pretty sure it 2-shots Shuckle. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Adamant, High Jump Kick, 2-shots Shuckle, which is really nice. Probably because it has booty HP, but that's not the point. So yeah, Shuckle I'm not worried about. I can easily handle that. Pretty much just decimates his whole team. And the best part is, his Mega Sableye, once it's Mega Evolved and doesn't have Prankster anymore, is no threat to my Mega Lopunny. Because I can bring a Mega Lopunny in, and unless he's packing Protect, which, even if he is, and we take that damage, it's not too big of a deal, because we outspeed his whole team. And Mega Lopunny, 1-shots. Max HP, max defense, Impish, or Bold, whatever you want to run on your Mega Sableyes. 1-shots, max HP, max defense, Bold, or Impish Mega Sableye. Every single time with that Jump Kick. There's no way in hell that it could live it. And even if he burns me, we have Heal Bell. Because even if he burns me, what's a Mega Sableye going to do to hurt a Mega Lopunny? Absolutely nothing. He would most likely have to switch. So I can go for a Heal Bell and no more burn. This also helps me kind of counter the Thundurus, as he can try to paralyze me while I go for an attack. Yeah, if he gets the paralysis off and I get full parried, that sucks. But regardless, if I go for an attack, I can cause some damage. He's going to probably be forced out at that point if we cause more than enough damage, because I'm pretty sure an Ice Punch, which is there more or less for the Thundurus, an Ice Punch is going to do a lot of damage to it. And it won't be appreciated, because Thundurus Incarnate is not bulky by any form whatsoever. In any way is it bulky. So if I hit that thing with an Ice Punch, he's either going to die or get pressured out, and then I have the ability against a lot of his team to safely click Heal Bell. And Mega Lopunny is immediately healed and back to outspeeding and killing pretty much everything on his team. So that's the whole mindset behind Mega Lopunny. A huge shout out to Septile MC of the GBA. He ran Heal Bell on his Mega Lopunny recently in the GBA Season 5, and I was inspired. I had to go with it, so that's the set I'm going to run with. And, yeah, very simple, very straightforward as to why everything is in the spot it is. No wasted EVs here. Nothing wasted. On to the next mon. We have King Ghidorah, the Choice Scarfed Hydreigon. I EV'd this Hydreigon basically for the goal of outspeeding everything he could potentially scarf. Because I'm looking at his roster from the fastest ones down. Chinchino's already really fast, so typically it's either Banded or running King's Rock. So there's that. So pretty sure that's probably what he would run if he brings it. I do have Mega Lopunny, so I don't think he's going to bring Chinchino. Thundurus Incarnate, I would most likely assume he's not going to run Thundurus Incarnate Scarfed, as I would feel like taking advantage of the Prankster T-Waves and other Prankster moves that he gets would be way too enticing for him to scarf it and lose that potential. So Thundurus Incarnate is out for being a scarfer. As for Zangoose, Zangoose is a very, very, very one-dimensional Pokemon. It runs a Toxic Orb, it runs Toxic Boost, that's it. So at that point, I look down at his next fastest mon, it's Cresselia. Cresselia is not a choice scarfable Pokemon. It could, but it's really not. It's not meant to be a choice scarfer. So it's meant to be a wall. So the next fastest mon is Magmortar, and this is kind of where this spread comes through. We have max speed and max special attack with a modest nature this week. We're actually able to take advantage of a modest Hydreigon this time, and that's fantastic because we do need the punching power to get past things like Cresselia, Shuckle, Crustle, etc. With this exact spread, we outspeed a Shell-Smashed Crustle, which is bonkers to think about. We outspeed a Shell-Smashed Crustle, which is one of the fastest things he could bring. Now, if I bring Scarf Victini is also an option. It would outspeed us, but depending on what move it scarfs itself in or bans itself into, we can easily come in and revenge kill with a nice, hard-hitting Dark Pulse. So I'm not too worried about Victini in a matchup against King Ghidorah. We pretty much wall a Victini almost, even without being defensive. Victini can't do all that much to us, and a lot of its moves have drawback to it as well. So that's kind of the thought process here of bringing it. With this speed, we guarantee every single time that we outspeed a Choice Scarf Magmortar. If he decides to bring something like that, which he has a Victini, so I don't see him bringing Magmortar at all. But if he does, we outspeed it, for sure. Even if it's Scarf, we outspeed it. So we outspeed literally his entire roster besides a Scarf Victini, which is awesome. We have Dark Pulse here because he has Victini, he has Cresselia, he has Slowking. None of them are going to like Dark Pulses. And they're Stab, so nothing on his team is really going to switch into it nicely and safely. And even if he runs physically defensive Mega Sableye, more power to him. Dark Pulse is going to do more damage to that Sableye. We have Draco Meteor because if we have a situation where we just want to sit there and just want to nuke something, a modest Draco Meteor from a Hydreigon is gonna fucking hurt a lot. It's gonna hurt a shit ton. That is the entire mindset behind this. It's going to hurt a lot. Nothing is going to appreciate a modest Draco Meteor from a Hydreigon. Nothing really switches in on it, and anything that does is pretty much either dead or set up for an easy 2-hit KO. And the best part about it is he has no fairies on his team, so he has no counters to a Draco Meteor. He actually doesn't even have a resistance on his team to Dragon at all. I'm 99% positive nothing on his team, and I can pull up a type chart now because I'm feeling really dumb, but I'm 90% positive that he doesn't have any resistances to Dragon on his entire team. Which, in my opinion, is silly, because Draco Meteor is one of the most spammable moves in the game. Kind of. Yeah, no, he has no resistances. No resistances to it on his team. So I can literally just enter the match, click Draco Meteor, something comes in, or something sits there and takes retarded amounts of damage, and that's about it. Flash Cannon's there, because I kind of wanted something that could hit the Shuckle and the Crustle super effectively. Being able to outspeed a Shell Smash Crustle really helps the situation, because if that thing's already been Shell Smashed, it's going to go for the Shell Smash because it knows it'll live with Sturdy. And if it does end up picking a kill on something, it's totally fine, absolutely fine, because I can just bring King Ghidorah in and fire off a Flash Cannon, or I can just honestly U-turn on it, which I only have the U-turn there because of the simple fact of trying to keep some momentum going in the match. Hydreigon's a really good mon to have with that, because I can just kind of click U-turn against something and boom, I'm safe. But it's kind of important. But yeah, I can come in on a Shell Smash Crustle after it kills something and revenge it really easily with King Ghidorah. So that's the mindset behind this set. King Ghidorah is going to most definitely put in some work this week, and I'm really, really excited to finally get a chance to use Hydreigon's potential. The next mon we're going to bring is our first wall, being Zitz the Seismitoad. He's going to be a physical wall again this week, because I looked at his team, and he had Victini, and that kind of justified exactly the way I built Seismitoad this week. I need to be able to take hits from Victini. I need to be able to wall a Victini. And this set does a very good job of it. This set does a very good job of eating hits from Victini like they're nothing. We have the rocks here because he does have Victini and Thundurus, who coming in would take 25%, as well as the Crustle and the Shuckle as well. And having the Shuckle take 25% on entry is fantastic. Actually, almost half his team, now that I look at it, yeah, Magmortar, Crustle, Shuckle, Victini, and Thunderous all take 25% from rocks, and that's kind of important in my eyes because it allows me to whittle down his team a lot easier. And looking at his team, he doesn't have any form of hazard control at all. He has no form of hazard control, so once the rocks go up, they're staying up. And that's the best part. If I can be sneaky and get the rocks up past a Mega Sableye, they're not going anywhere. And that's fantastic for me. Not so fantastic for my opponent, but that's alright with me. I can live with him struggling a little bit. So the rocks are going to hurt his team a lot. Scald is there, because if I end up in a 1v1 against Victini, I can easily just click Scald and cause some serious damage to it. Also, I can 1v1 the Crustle, I can 1v1 the Shuckle any day of the week, and Scald is going to do ridiculous damage. Ice Punch is there, just in case. I would normally outspeed the Tangrowth by a lot. Like, Tangrowth is really slow in comparison to me, so I don't predict him running speed on his Tangrowth, so I would easily be able to get off, at least it would be a stab Ice Punch, and it would do some damage, or potentially get a freeze on it. That'd be hilarious and fantastic for me. Suck for Chris, but I mean, I can't, hacks happens, you know, so if I can get that 10% chance to freeze, I'm all over it. And then Drain Punch is there for his normal types. Good thing about his normal types, 2 out of the 3 of them are physical attackers. So that really works well for me, as I can just safely click Drain Punch against them and do some really big damage while eating whatever hit they throw at me. So that's kind of nice. That's pretty much it for Seismitoad. 248 HP, max defense, physical wall. Basically all you need to know. The next mon is probably my favorite set and my most evil set that I've ever devised. Ghostbuster the Dusknoir, rocking an Assault Vest. This set just walls everything. This set walls everything. We got 248 HP, 4 into attack, 4 into Spidef, and max defense with an Impish Nature. This set's not meant for offense. This set is meant to shut his team down. Entirely shut it down. Which is, please and thank you, I want to shut his team down. That's the goal here. And that's what I'm doing. His team can't touch me. Knockoffs aren't going to hurt too terribly because none of them are stab. He doesn't have any stab knockoff besides Mega Sableye, which I'm not going to have this thing in against Mega Sableye ever. That'd be stupid. But he only has one mon with stab knockoff, which is great. He has a bunch of normal types, which is also great. We can kind of stop them. He has some potent special offensive threats that cannot punch through this amount of bulk. Nothing can punch through this. With Shadow Sneak, we have the priority we need, that if we need to pick off Victini later in the game, we can easily come in and do that, no problem. We can eat any hit from Victini and revenge kill it really quickly with a Shadow Sneak, which is nice. We have Shadow Punch if we end up in a stall fest against a mon like Slowking or Cresselia. We can fire off Shadow Punches and do some decent damage against them. We have Rock Slide for situations where we end up against the Shuckle or the Crustle, or even the Thunderous, and potentially the Magmortar as well. So we have something that's a little stronger to hit them with. It's not stab, but it's a little stronger, and it has the potential to flinch as well. We're never going to go first, but depending on his spreads, you never know. So if we can get off a super effective move on anything, that'd be fantastic. And Brick Break is there for the normal types. We pretty much wall. I actually kind of want to run this calc real quick. I'm kind of curious. With this Dusknoir set, I want to see how well we take a Boom Burst from a Exploud. Item. Let's go. Assault Vest. For investment with an impish nature. Oh my god. Oh my lord. That's nasty. Oh man. Boom Burst does 38.4 to 46.3%. We have a switch into a Boom Burst. We actually have something that switches in and gets off good damage. Like if the Exploud has taken prior damage, and that's modest choice specs, by the way. Like that's a modest choice specs Exploud with Boom Burst. And that's all that it does is 38 to 46%. That's absolutely fucking nuts. I've never seen something eat a Boom Burst that nicely. So with that spread right there, we have a switch into anything on his team. That is the hardest special hit Ghostbuster would ever have to take, is a Boom Burst. And you just saw how insanely it'll take it. So Ghostbuster shuts down his physical threats. It shuts down his... Let me see how it shuts down his Victini. Let's go Adamant. Let's give it V-Create. Okay, so even if he runs it banded, we're still 2-shot. We're still 2-shot by a V-Create, but that's about all we can do. Banded V-Create is disgusting. But in a proper world, we do 27 to 32% with a Shadow Sneak, and we do 38 to 48% with a Shadow Punch. So we pretty much can almost destroy this thing, and after rocks, a Shadow Punch, Shadow Sneak combination has the potential to kill. So that's kind of important. I've been rambling about this set too much because I'm too proud of it, but we'll move on to our next Mon, who is our newest member of the team, 666, the Shiny Spiritomb. Holding the leftovers, I decided this week, looking at his team, I didn't really need to build this thing physically defensive, as I didn't see too many clearly physical threats to this thing. He has a lot more special Mons on his team this week, besides Victini. Obviously, we're not going to have this thing on Victini, but nonetheless. I saw Thunderous Incarnate, I saw, Cresselia, I saw Slowking, Exploud, Tangrowth, etc., etc. I saw these Mons and I'm like, man, I really don't want to have to deal with this thing with anything else. So, I'm going to make a fully specially defensive, calm-natured Spiritomb. And that's kind of the goal I went with here. Max HP, max special defense, 4 into special attack to get a little bit of extra oomph on my hits. We're running Toxic, Taunt, Dark Pulse, and Hidden Power Rock. Now, I debated between Will-O-Wisp and Toxic for a little while, but looking at the situation, he has Mega Sableye, who couldn't burn anyway, and I'm not going to try to fire off status-related moves when Mega Sableye is still alive. Victini is his biggest physical threat and most likely coming to the match. I can't Will-O-Wisp that thing. So that's a problem. He's got a Tangrowth, which is most likely specially offensive. So having a burn on it wouldn't be too great anyway. Exploud as well wouldn't really be hurt by a burn. I thought more with Mons than I most likely thought he was bringing, and most of them were special, or wouldn't be affected much by a burn. So I decided Toxic was best, because I can really whittle down a lot of his special threats a lot better this way. I can stall them out really nicely, like with the entirety of my team. Like none of his specially offensive Mons really do much to me. So I kind of felt like I had a really good setup here with that, having Toxic over Will-O-Wisp. Even though, obviously, physical Mons can still hurt me a little more, but I have really good natural physical bulk, so I can take some physical hits if I have to. I have Taunt here for like the Cresselia. If I end up in a matchup against the Cresselia, or I can fire it off on something wanting to switch in on me. If the Thundurus comes in, I taunt it. It can't Thunder Wave anything. Makes me free to switch out into something that can take a hit and then hit it back really hard. If I hit the Cresselia with it, it can't Moonlight, and I can do some serious damage with Dark Pulses. This set is at most 3-hit KO'd by a bulky Cresselia's Moonblasts, which is insane. So Spiritom's only weakness, and the only mon on my opponent's team that I can recollect appropriately that has Fairy type coverage, can't even two-shot me. That's great to know. Hold on, give me a second. Give me a second. I have to cough. Oh my god. And then for our last move, we have Hidden Power Rock. The last move we have is Hidden Power Rock. So obviously we have the Stab Dark Pulse. It hits his entire team. We have Hidden Power Rock because he has 5 mons weak to Rock. And I'd be stupid not to have a coverage move there to hit them super effectively. I can do some good damage to the Shuckle. I can do some damage to the Crustle. I can hit the Magmortar. I can hit the Victini. Dark Pulse is obviously my move against Victini, but still. I can hit the Thundurus. The Thundurus just kind of gets shut down by Spiritomb in all instances. And even if he tries to set up subs with anything, and just in case he tries to set up subs with things so he can become bulkier, I have Infiltrator. Even if he tries to set up subs with like Cresselia or something, with Infiltrator, I'm just going to continuously fire off Dark Pulses against it, and it can't do anything to stop me. So that's the kind of the plan here. If only Infiltrator boosted power of moves going through subs, that'd be kind of nice, but what can you do? This is our Spiritomb. I'm excited to have Spiritomb on the team because it adds a very nice wall. It also gives us somewhat of a much better... It also takes away that having him over Omastar takes away having 2 mons with a 4 times weakness, so I can bring these 3 walls in at the same time, and none of them share weaknesses, which is absolutely phenomenal. In fact, between these 4 mons, these 3 mons that are my typical walls, there's only 4 weaknesses between them, which is ludicrous to think about. So it's a really good wall core. So I'm happy about it. So we're gonna see how it works this week. Lastly, we have Entei. And Entei looks to be absolutely insane in this match. We're rocking a Choice Band with 244 speed, gets him to the highest level he needs to be, allows him to naturally outspeed the Cresselia, which is pretty much all we need him to outspeed. We had 4 into Spadef, Defense, and HP. The 4 in HP allows us to take an extra Stealth Rock switch in if he decides to bring them, which, if he does, he's losing a move slot on Crustle, or he's losing a move slot on Shuckle. And really, Shuckle can't do shit to my team, so I'm not worried if he brings Shuckle. It'll be something I have to take care of early in the match, but I'm not scared of it. Adamant Nature, which is even better for me, because I'm going to be able to punch holes through his team. Sacred Fire. Banded Sacred Fire, unless he runs max HP, max defense, bold, or impish Tangrowth, he's not living a Banded Sacred Fire, and the potential and the 50% chance for a burn allows me to guarantee that the Tangrowth goes down 100% of the time. And anything on his team, even Victini, does not take a Banded Sacred Fire very well. It takes like 35 to 40%. That's not really that's kind of switching in on it, but not really. Especially when the biggest move you can do to me isn't all that big. Extreme Speed. I can pick off a lot of mons on his team really nicely later in the game, especially if he has Thundurus out. and it's down pretty low, and he's trying to like paralyze a lot of my team, I can send Entei in and Bandit Extreme Speed that thing and drop it. Because with +2 priority, I believe, yeah, I'm pretty sure Extreme Speed sits at +2 priority. That's going to immediately outspeed him and fuck your Thunder Waves, bro. Fuck your Thunder Waves. Stone Edge. Stone Edge bodies like almost his entire team with the big rock weakness he has. Victini, gone. Thunderous, gone. Shuckle, gone. Crustle, gone. McMortar, just get out. And then at this point, I needed a coverage move. I didn't see the usage of Bulldoze being available. Bulldoze just kind of seemed silly this week because he does have a Tangrowth that resists it heavily. He has a Thundurus that's immune to it. He has a Cresselia that's immune to it. Kind of seems silly, right? So I decided to just go with Return. Return is a nice, good, all-around move that if there's a situation where I feel like he can bring something in that could heavily resist one of my moves, I can just click Return, and it's going to cause some big damage to his team. So, without further ado, looks like the battle's probably going to be going down very shortly. I'll send my message to Chris and see if he's ready. And we're probably going to go hop off into that battle. So, till next time, guys, I'm PokePrimer, signing off, and wish us luck.